Fido. I'm having my own intervention. Dog Gus and Bella needs some help. Recently my wife passed away, and Gloria's here to help me with an intervention. Gloria, how are you going?
Hey Sam, thanks for being here, and thanks for all you do with your animals and trying to keep them out of shelters and protect them. So we get about 10 to 30 calls a day for people that need help keeping their animals, from medical challenges to moving out of their apartments. Somebody might have gotten bit with a behavioral animal, or they need help. So without this help, people end up bringing their dogs to shelters, or they have nowhere to go. So these interventions are so important to keep animals out of the shelter and that they can live a quality of life. Some of them are seniors, bonded pairs. Some might have behavioral problems because they're nervous and they're not knowing where they're at the present time when people lose their apartment and have no housing. So these interventions, I believe, is one of the keys to stopping animals from going into shelters, because when people get counseling, mentoring, and have a way to get a solution, they change their attitude, because many of them do want to keep their dogs, but they don't have anybody to talk to or any kind of help to make that happen. So I'm glad that we can help you with your intervention, which we'll be talking about next time you see us. And Sam has a Yorkie and a Labrador, and nobody has any place to go right now, so thankfully there's a place like Famous Fido that people can get help and get the quality of time and mentoring that they need. Thank you so much.
Yeah, who did you get in this week?
Oh, well, we have, like I said, there's many people calling on an ongoing basis, but 4 cats came in this week. Madeline, who was 8 years old, and every single animal that comes in here has an individual story, so they have to be treated like an individual. Madeline, for example, is a tabby cat that was given for adoption as a kitten by herself, and then the family had the cat for 8 years, and then they decided that they didn't want the cat anymore. And then we had a really extremely disturbing story of Tyson, who is a orange tabby cat. He's probably about a year old, and according to vet reports, his little body was smashed inside a car, and she smashed the door onto the cat, and now he's completely cannot use his back legs, walk. He may have a disc problem, and we're trying to get him the help that he needs, but we're talking about $5,000 to $8,000 if he has to go get an MRI and see a neurologist, which he's probably going to do. And that's why we need so much help for the intervention fund, to give us the resources to help these cats. A couple of the other cats that came in was, we had Madeline, Tyson, Peanut, and Captain. Captain was another sad story. This man it's a 15-year-old cat, and he's a black cat, and he was given up by a previous boss to this gentleman, and now this guy decided to take his family to Africa to bring a missionary statement to Africa, and now the 15-year-old cat has nowhere to go. So this cat is here also. And like I said, the phone never stops ringing for animals, and we can't take every animal into Famous Fido, but we try to do our best to give people resources and do intervention counseling. Hopefully people are going to understand what we do, that proper adoptions, intervention is a key to keep animals out of the shelter and not have animals be put in these situations where they have nobody and no advocate. And I really am grateful that you understand that and that you're standing by your animals.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell me about some of the outcomes.
Yeah, we've had some really successful outcomes. One of them is Chewy, which is a little Westie that was going to be given up because he has an extremely bad skin problem. It's raw red throughout his whole body, and people didn't like the smell, and they didn't have the resources to go to the vet anymore, and they were getting the wrong information. So we were able to get an appointment with Dr. Rossman at Glen Oak Vet in Glenview, and now he's being seen on a regular basis, and his skin problem is going away. and they're very happy that they're getting the help that they need. And originally their intention was to give a 12-year-old dog away. And then one evening I got a call from a girl that had a cat that she found, and that cat was in a bush, and it had a belt around its neck where somebody tried to strangle the cat, and his eyes were bloodshot, and the cat was in a critical state of near death. And this was in the evening. She had no help or a vet to take it to, nor the resources, the money to take that animal to the vet. So we were able to get it to the emergency vet, and that bill was about $2,500, which she would not have been able to cover. And we managed to save that cat's life, so it could, flourish. And now she has kept the cat, and now that's the new home for the cat. So those two animals, these stories are endless. They never stop, and the outcomes can be good if we all work together and communicate, get the right information for the animal, and really want to keep that animal in the home.
Who was adopted this week?
Well, we had two really great adoptions that went together. Maggie and Precious T. Both of them are black cats, and black cats usually stay at rescues or shelters 25% longer than most cats. There's a taboo on them, and they're not treated well on the street. If you find a black cat, they can be used as for Santeria, cult followings. People have an image of a black cat. So this was a great adoption. This girl and her husband decided that they wanted one cat, and these cats got along so well together that they took both of them home. And they're precious. They're loving, sweet, young female cats that are probably about less than 2 years old. And they got a wonderful home. So we were really happy about that this week.
That's great. You're doing a renovation at the center. Why is it important?
Well, it's very important because most animals that go to shelters live in cages, and this is a cage-free atmosphere where the animals have rooms. And we just started updating. We're working on this room, which is the jungle room, and they live. They have cat TV. They have a water fountain. They have different types of furniture that they can climb in, and it really shows a difference in the cats' lives and also the dogs' lives. But we don't want them to be in a cage and sit in a box with the litter pan. So there's a lot of volunteers that come in and enrich them, but talk to them, give them exercise, love, care, attention, and it's important. I've noticed that one of the cats, all of the cats have shown every time something new comes in the room, they're really happy about seeing a new item, like a cat TV especially. And I noticed one of the cats, whose name is Cato, he was at an open door shelter, and he was not doing good there. He was in a cage. He was trying to bite, hiss at people. He was lethargic, and there was a good chance he would be euthanized very soon. And they asked if we could bring him here. He's a new cat. He's on his cat tree. He's loving, affectionate, rolls on his back, loves the attention, and expects and demands certain things from us, like his meal time. They all get wet food and dry food. They have cat trees and cat furniture that they can climb in on the walls. And my idea was to let them go up so they have more space. Unfortunately, there's just too many cats and dogs being surrendered. The last estimate I looked at was more than 3 million cats brought to shelter alone. There's just no place for all these animals to go. And I feel that their stay at a rescue or shelter should be as good as it can be, because many animals stay there for years and they're not getting homes. Why do they stay there for years? Because there's not a lot, let me just say, there's not a lot of people that understand when animals have quirks. Number one, their past home could have been abusive. They stay at a shelter and they're getting semi-isolated. They're not with the family. So sometimes they can have behavioral problems, which can be worked with. And sometimes they're sad and depressed, and they're not what a human might think they should be at that time when they're just meeting them. So the living spaces are very important to these guys, and that's the intention, is to make them as happy as they can be until they get a forever home.
We're in the jungle room. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, each one of the rooms that we're putting together for the animals have a theme pertaining to animals' habitats. So in the jungle, they're burning these jungles down, and these are animals' living spaces, so the animals are becoming extinct. Their habitats are being destroyed, so we want people to understand that there's more to animal life than just the domestic animals that are here. When we burn these forests down, it's a whole web. It's involving factory farmed animals, it's involving animals that are being trophy hunted, our oceans. So you'll be learning and seeing more on our Facebook page about what we're doing in each room, and we think this message is very important, and it pertains to the animals that we see on a daily basis also. Thank you. For the community to get involved with our special project at Famous Fido. We want to get as many like-minded people as we can involved in this project. And you can go on our Facebook page and learn more, donate as a one-time or monthly donor, help us with the renovation, because we're trying to raise $125,000 for our animals and their housing and medical care at Famous Fido. And we also want to build our intervention fund, so we have the funds to help people like Sam and the other animals that we're helping so they don't enter shelters. Check out Famous Fido at famousfidorescue.org. Go to our website, and we have everything on the Facebook and website about our intervention program. We definitely need this money, because without your help, there is no other way to do it than getting the donations in here to create these rooms, create the enrichment, and help the animals at Famous Fido, and help the people that are calling us to keep the animals out of the shelter. Check out our website, famousfidorescue.org, and our Facebook page, and it will give you our new fundraiser up there so you can get involved. Thanks so much.